We have new audio from the SafeMoon bankruptcy hearing, this being shared by Live for Afford over on Twitter. Shout outs to them. I'm going to go ahead and play the full audio this time. This is a bit lengthy, so let's go ahead and get straight into it.
The United States Bankruptcy Court for the District of Utah, the Honorable Joel T. Marker presiding, is now in session. God save the United States of America and this honorable court.
Good afternoon. We've got one matter on the calendar in the SafeMoon US LLC Chapter 7 case. Could I get appearances, please, starting with the case trustee?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ellen Ostro, Chapter 7 trustee.
And for the debtor?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Mark Rose appearing on behalf of the debtor, SafeMoon US LLC.
And for the U.S. trustee?
Melinda Wilden for the U.S. trustee.
All right. Ms. Ostro, you've got Mr. Goodman with you on the line?
I do, Your Honor. Go ahead, Mr. Goodman.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Jeff Goodman on behalf of the trustee. We have filed a Proc Vici application, and we will be submitting an order on that. I would appreciate the opportunity to be heard to the extent that my presence today will be helpful, Your Honor.
Thank you, of course. And for the, I think there were some appearances by the SEC at the last hearing.
There were, Your Honor. Oren Gleish is here from the Securities and Exchange Commission. I was planning just to be an observer today and not enter an appearance. However, I am available if any questions should arise.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to make an appearance in this matter?
Your Honor, Alan Meza from the SEC as well. I'm Senior Bankruptcy Counsel of the SEC, and similar to Mr. Gleich, I intend to observe the hearing. At this point, I do not intend to participate.
Thank you. All right. Has everyone had a chance to review the status report, the helpful status report that Ms. Ostro filed yesterday? And do any of the parties present have any questions about the report?
The debtor does not, Your Honor.
All right. This is a final hearing on the motion that you filed in December to operate the debtor's business, Ms. Ostro. And remind me of, if I grant that on a final basis, what time period we're talking about.
Thank you, Your Honor. And if it's all right with the court, I would like Mr. Goodman to address on this particular motion.
Mr. Goodman, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. We've asked for 60 days, Your Honor, and without prejudice to coming back to Your Honor to ask for an additional time period, should that be necessary at that point in time. I think it would be. We didn't, I guess, when we filed to anticipate necessarily the interim final, so I think we asked for 60 days from the interim. So I would say that if we had 60 days from the interim order, we can come back to Your Honor. I guess it would be in mid-February, mid to late February timeframe. I haven't done the math.
Yeah, the order was entered on December 20th. All right. One thing that occurred to me as we're going through this, obviously, trustee operating a business as a wind down in a Chapter 7 is not something we see every day. Have you discussed with the U.S. Trustee's Office the preparation and filing of some sort of operating reports so that at least the U.S. Trustee and hopefully other parties in interest in, I guess, in some sort of transparency, people can see what's going on?
Your Honor, I'll send the ball back to Ms. Ostro. She's the one dealing with the U.S. Trustee in this matter.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I have spoken with Ms. Wilden from the U.S. Trustee's Office about monthly operating reports, including I know she would like to see, we want to keep the independent contractors' identities confidential, but we will be working with her to get some reports onto the docket, monthly operating report, about what payments we've made and how the debtor is functioning during this wind down period.
All right. Anything else? There have been no further responses to the motion before me. And so if nobody else has anything to jump in with, I'm going to grant the motion on a extended basis for the 60 days requested by the debtor. And let's just peg that at, let's just say March 15th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That would be closer to 60 days from today, but I think it's what you're going to be needing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We will upload a proposed order after the hearing, Your Honor.
All right. Are you having fun?
Yes, Your Honor, almost always. Just to add to the status report, Your Honor.
Yes.
So we have been in constant communication with Ms. Wilden, been speaking with the debtors counsel, Ken M3, that was the previous chief restructuring officer, and we are working with the employees, and Dundon Advisors, which is the proposed financial advisor to the trustee, has been instrumental in helping us bring some actual liquid assets into the estate that allowed us to pay the employees. We have been reaching out to the banks, specifically FD Bank, and then Mr. Caroni's counsel, as it relates to Ronin Crypto Group and Ronin Real Estate Holdings. There are a number of affiliated entities that we are looking at, and part of our understanding is that all of the funds in those other companies came from SafeMoon and belong to SafeMoon. And we're looking closely at that, but because the banks did not give us the funds as requested several times, even prior to our initial hearing before this court on December 18th, we did move forward with that trade, and pursuant to this court's interim order, it was only the Ethereum as requested by the SEC. That was done with the trading partner called Galaxy. We did look at other options, but because of the Christmas holiday and the know your customer for these trading partners, that was the fastest option to get money into the estate to pay the employees. And I think that we got, based on Dundon's assistance and help, we got the market rate, Your Honor, so that $443,000 that we brought into the estate was a cost of about $800 for that trade. So it was, I think, a very good result. We were able to pay the employees. We are still offered that as independent contractors from December, their work from December 16th to December 29th. We're assessing the priority wage payment. I believe that there needs to be withholding on that payment. So we are confirming the numbers there to get the employees paid for that amount, and hopefully that'll go out this week. And again, we are also assessing what's beneficial to the estate and who continues as independent contractors. But I do appreciate all their work in helping us understand the assets of the debtor and preserve and maintain the value. The last thing that I wanted, or two other things, Your Honor, that was put in the status report. We are working with the intellectual property. There were several pending deadlines that we had counsel in the UK and counsel in North Carolina that were previous counsel for the debtor in IP matters. Preserve some of those assets going forward to hit those deadlines so we didn't lose those assets. We'll again assess whether or not those are appropriate to continue to hold on to, but given that we wanted to maintain the status quo until we have the option to review whether that's valuable to the estate, we've paid that, or we've asked them to proceed and intend on paying those professionals as ordinary course professionals under the 721 order and under 363C. I did run that by the U.S. trustee, and I don't think there will be any issue with that, but wanted to alert the court to that. I believe that's in our status report as well, Your Honor. Further, I have visited the Utah location, the storage, or the office location. There's some equipment there. The landlord has changed the locks. We've also had that communication with the Miami location, an office and an apartment, and I believe that we'll have someone from Foley's, the proposed counsel's office, go visit that location. And then lastly, Your Honor, while this is in its infancy and engagement, we are working with we're gaining additional records. One of the issues, and I'm sure you saw this in the certificate of service that was filed by the debtor's counsel, not all of the employees have received notice while they were terminated pre-petition, they have not seen the schedules. Those addresses are held in Gusto, the payroll company that has locked the debtor out pre-petition, and we are working to get access to those records and then provide notice to those former employees.
Well, that's a question I had. Mr. Rose, you added between Christmas and New Year 60 other creditors. Are these new creditors or new parties in interest?
Correct. From the original creditors that were uploaded, some of those are, I believe there were a few on Schedule G that automatically pull into the matrix. And then there were additional creditors or parties in interest noted on schedules or Schedule EF. It is correct that just the catch-all former employees and contractors was used on Schedule EF, and we have not been able to identify addresses for those employees and contractors, but we will continue to work with Ms. Ostro and her counsel to obtain those and then have either the trustee or our office ensure that the notice of Chapter 7 filing is mailed out to those employees and contractors as soon as we have their addresses.
And the class action matter that's pending in district court, and I can't remember, I did look at the docket, but I can't remember if there was a class approved or just proposed. But are all of those proposed or actual class plaintiffs, are they on the notice list, or are they getting notice only through their counsel?
If you'll give me 2 seconds, I'm going to pull up Schedule EF. I want to say they are only getting notice through their counsel because their addresses on the docket for the federal case are not disclosed. They don't appear, they just show care of their counsel. But I do believe we named them.
Well, Mr. Rose, what I'd like you to do is contact the class counsel and say, do you want to be responsible for providing information to your clients, or do you want to give us, the debtor, those names and addresses so that they can get it directly when the court sends out an order or other notice?
Will do. And to clarify on that, so it does look like we did name on Schedule EF the named plaintiffs in those, but they are care of their counsel. So if we get correct addresses, I can modify those addresses, but I will reach out to counsel in that proceeding to confirm that they want to either get notice and pass that on, or if they want to provide the addresses.
Thank you. And then are there customers, or I still don't know a lot about this company. Are there customers out there who haven't received notice of the case?
I believe everyone to our knowledge, Your Honor, and that being the CRO in the case, or the CRO that was appointed pre-petition, everyone that we're aware of has been listed and scheduled. Obviously, if we learn of anyone else, we would amend Schedule EF or Schedule G or whatever needs to be amended to disclose them, and would immediately mail them a copy of the notice of first meeting of creditors or notice of Chapter 7 filing. But as of right now, yes, everyone that we're aware of is included on Schedule EF or the other schedules.
Your Honor, if I may add a point on this, I think might be responsive to your question, or at least a derivation of it.
Please.
So one of the big issues in this case, and the trustee's not prepared to take a position on this, how it's treated yet, is going to be, and it kind of comes into the class, is are those who invest in SafeMoon tokens, as alleged in the class action complaint, some degree, although not directly in the SEC complaint, are all those creditors of the estate, are they entitled to claims? How are their claims going to be treated? Because of the nature of crypto assets, we're not going to know the identity of every holder that's ever acquired SafeMoon tokens during the relevant time period. So as part of, I think we're probably going to come to court at some point with the U.S. trustees' thoughts as well, with how we actually make sure people have notice of a bar date. In some ways, I've been involved a lot in the opioid cases and different. In some ways, it acts kind of like the opioid case where you have to kind of figure out a way to get notice to the public. And I know it's happened in other crypto cases too, in slightly different contexts, to make sure those who may have owned SafeMoon tokens can assert their rights and make their claims, and we figure out later how they're treated. But I think in a way that's at least part of kind of what the question you asked, but that is going to be an issue that we have to address relatively soon in the case about at least getting notice to those people, and then at some point later how their claims are going to be treated.
Thank you. Ms. Ostro, on the estate's financial situation, so the status report indicated $443,000 in. Is that the total of the cash you've collected for the estate at this point?
Yes, Your Honor.
And give me a ballpark of what's gone out as far as payment to the employees.
I believe I want to say about 50 to 60,000, Your Honor. I'd have to go back and look. I believe that's about right. And I think with priority payments, I have a spreadsheet. If you give me one moment, I can actually give you a better calculation, Your Honor. A second. So about 50,000, Your Honor, and then with priority amounts, it would be about 43,000. And then this coming week, next week, another 60,000 or so will go out the doors.
Right. Well, that's a pretty, given the amount at stake right now, that's a pretty significant burn rate. So I'll leave it up to you to keep an eye on that.
I will, Your Honor.
Right. Anything else to be accomplished today? All right. I'll grant the motion going forward through March 15th, 2024. Ms. Ostro, if you'll prepare that order and get an endorsement by Ms. Wilden. SEC, you want to take a look at that or not?
Yes, Your Honor. If we could look at the order before it's submitted, we would appreciate that.
Thank you. All right. Thank you all for your time. Court's in recess.
All right, that's what I got for you guys in this video. Stay tuned for more news updates of what's going on with SafeMoon, as well as what's going on in the crypto industry space. And I really do appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. Double shout out thank you to We Love, Victor Vegas, OzMoonX for being higher level patrons. Thank you to my YouTube members for your support as well. God bless, and we'll see you in the next episode.